Here we have a couple of our finished blocks that we've done, and I've pressed them out nice and flat, and got my seams going the same way here, and I'm just going to put one on top of the other one. Now this one, the seams are going this way, and for this one then, see, the seams are also going that way. I'm going to flip this one around. I want the seams to go the exact opposite way, and I'll show you why in just a minute. These aren't perfect. Again, you know, meant to be fun. Your points are not going to be perfectly matched. So I put these on top of each other. They look pretty good, and you notice, actually, I'm going to put the dark ones on top because I've got the line that goes, the lines that we marked before, they're still there, and they are easier to follow as a guide than if I just left it on the bottom one. And again, the seams going the opposite direction. And they fit together pretty good. Just smooth them out. And do the same technique with the cutting. So, handy dandy rotary. And here we go. Starting on the edge, kind of the corner. And I'm going to cut up until I get to the seam, and that's when it starts kind of trying to get away from you. So then I'm going to anchor it with my finger, put my rotary cutter back, and there we go. Wonky cut, all done. Now this one. Start on the opposite side, cut up while anchoring, and there we go. Now this is going to be a fun one. So now that I've got it all cut, we're going to use the exact same technique as before. We're going to pull this top one up, just alternating again, and pull the alternating, whoops, I did that wrong, didn't I? But it's pretty obvious when you do it wrong. Pull the alternating ones here up from the bottom up. There. And so we've got the makings of 2 blocks with the wonky checkerboard. And again, obviously your points are not going to match here. At some places they might, but we want this to be fun, so we're not going to worry about it. So again, we're going to take this over to the sewing machine, right sides together, and we're going to sew those curvy edges together, and just like we did before. Now what I like to do, even though I said the points aren't going to match, on this particular step, I do like to take and put my seams together, and this is why I did the seam allowance in the opposite direction. You can see here that the seams just kind of fit in to each other nice and snug. See that? Nice and snug. And I am going to actually take a pin and pin that in place. And I'm leaving it pretty far away from the edge so I don't sew over it. And then over here, I'm going to do the same thing, because we're going to ease all this up. So a little bit of stretch there, if you see what I'm doing here. That stretch is going to allow it to go around the curve. So it looks gappy now, but it'll work when you sew it together. Again, these 2 seams are snugging in to each other. So we might actually get a nice point here. You never know. So I'll bring this over to the sewing machine, and we'll just ease this together. Just the exact same way we did the other. and it'll come out just fine. And then when you pull them apart, of course your seams will be going in opposite directions, so you'll have it laying nice and flat when you iron it out, press it out.